First of all, we'd like to win everything that we play in, but unfortunately, when you're playing 7 games in 22 days, we played 4 games in the last 11 days, altitude, travel away from home. The reality is that I'm not going to risk guys that have a lot of, they have high loads. I'm not going to risk them. I'm just not going to. And so, obviously, it was a very young team in a lot of respects, and that is what it is. I'm not here to make excuses. The other team played well. Congratulations to them, and good luck to them to move on. But I can't risk players on my team. We've been through this before in 2019. Traveled across time zones, incredible weather, and unfortunately, we sold the player. We have a new player coming, and he's not here, and some guys that are injured. We just couldn't afford to risk a bunch of other guys. So it's actually a really simple answer. Does anybody want to lose like we did today? No, we don't want to. But I'm not gonna put the team in jeopardy.
No, I totally get that. But if you look at guys like, I know Russell hasn't played a couple of games. Allen played 30 minutes in Colorado. How do you balance that? Pulling out a more experienced team compared to. I mean, you guys played 8 guys who played 5 other games this season.
Yeah. You sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and people got to take the opportunity, and they have to go and run with it, and they have to do their best with it. It's an experience, and for some of them, it's not a good experience, right? They got it handed to them, and they're going to have to bounce back from it, just the way it is. But I do know this. I know that there's other guys in the team that just, listen, they need a break, unfortunately. Allen's been away with the national team for a long time. He can't just come in and play every single minute. He played a boatload against LAFC. And so it Roger, so a lot of guys, and I just have to be very careful. I mean, and then it doesn't help when you have, Lindsey goes down with an injury, and that's a guy that I count on to play a lot of games. So now he's out. Look, I think at the end of the day, that's the decision I had to make. And, anybody wants to make a criticism to the team, they can make it at me. I'll take the blame on it. I'm the coach. No problem. Bring it on. I'll take it.
Next question goes to Jonathan Segal with NLSsoccer.com. Jonathan, your line is open.
Do you see value in competition, or do you think it needs changing in any way? I mean, obviously there's tough decisions for managers. They have to put their players' health and safety first, but how do you see this competition factoring into the, let's call it, ambitions of the leagues and the competitions that are going on?
I think absolutely it can be a great competition. I just think that there's a lot of different things that go into it. Unfortunately, when you pull the things together that I've already mentioned, it doesn't give you the flexibility to do what you want to do. And that's it. Okay, if I had a completely healthy team at this time, okay, maybe it's a different story. If we just sold a player, as I said, we have another player that's coming in, but he just doesn't have his immigration stuff sorted out yet. So all those things have a factor. We have another player that's out. We have a couple other players that are injured. Just all those things, and we have guys that have, like I said, we play 4 games in 11 days. I'm not sure what you guys think they are, but they're all not Supermen. That's for sure. So any competition that you play, you have to always weigh, the risk and reward. And at the end, I would not change my decision based on what the score was. I'm not going to risk the guys and put them in a bad situation, and now we're out a ton of guys that have been playing a lot. I just wouldn't do it to them. So I can't change the circumstances that we're in currently, and I can only make decisions based on the circumstances we are in. Sure, if you came to me and said, hey, we're going to play these 3 games, we're going to play them over a 10-day period, meaning that we're going to play, a Saturday, a Wednesday, a Saturday, okay, that's great. And that's how we're going to do it. And we have no MLS games in there. Works out great for me because now we're focused on that competition and we can put, our team out there. But we had to move our roster around today. Look, Ilie Sanchez played in the game. Gotti Kinda played in the game. Remy Walters, these are guys that have been playing, a lot of minutes. But again, they can't play full time, and there's a lot of other guys that just can't. So it's simple. Is it a valuable competition? Sure, it's a great competition. Just again, you have to make it based on what your circumstances are at the moment. And right now, we're struggling with players.
Just a quick follow-up, and on a different note, I believe you guys had homegrowns who started the match tonight. And
how many? How many?
I think it was 7 homegrowns, if I'm not mistaken. And then Pierre comes in off the bench as well to replace Jalen. What did you take from those young players, and obviously playing a great club, just from an age perspective, had an older lineup out there? How did you see these youngsters meeting that moment today? Well,
again, I mean, obviously the score tells you something, right? But I think that all of these kids, like our 15s, our 17s, our 19s, they need to be playing international competitions against Mexican teams. They you know, a lot of these kids that are in our team should have already played against León's 15s or 17s, you know, 4 or 5 times before they even play this game, so that they know what they're playing against. But we're not there yet. We're working towards it. So when that happens, that'll be great. But I still think the experience for our guys was good, because they were shown what it's like playing against a team of that caliber. So every experience it can be really valuable, especially if you learn from it.
Our next question goes to Charles Bowen with MLSsoccer.com. Charles, your line is open.
Hey, Coach, I wonder what you thought of Ozzy Cisneros tonight, kind of throwing him in at the deep end, and how do you think he responded? I mean, he struggled.
I'll be honest with you, he struggled. He struggled in the pace of the game. He struggled with the physicality of it. And I think at times he was a little bit lost, but you know, that's for him to work through. Obviously, we'll continue to keep working with him, but every player has to find his way in this game. You know, I'm a big believer that 95% of player development comes from the player. It's the club and the staff that create the environment, and now the player has to grow from that. So, but again, an experience for him, and he's got to learn from it.
Next question goes to Daniel Sperry with Last Word on Soccer. Daniel, your line is open.
Peter, excuse me. We were just kind of talking about those young players there. How did you think Caden Pierre did coming off the bench? It seemed like he kind of struggled to get into the game, but in the second half, he was making some pretty good defensive reads, I thought.
It's good and bad. Good and bad. It was good and bad. You know, there's moments, but then there's other moments of lack of concentration or just wrong decision. But again, I don't know what else to say. You have to have self-awareness, right? First off, you have to have self-evaluation. You have to leave the game. You have to evaluate how you played, the decisions that you made in the game. Then what you have to do is you have to go back and you have to see that if you can learn from those things and get better the next time you're out on the field. And that's the whole thing. And the other thing too is that you got to find a way, confidence-wise, to get yourself back again. Because when you lose, you know, it doesn't matter if you lose obviously 2-0 or if you lose 6-1. At the end, your confidence is struck a little bit. It's got an impact to it, and you got to work from there. So he's like all the rest of the guys.
Our next question goes to Orlando Castellan. Orlando, your line is open.
Buenas noches, profe. Orlando Castellan, Servicio Informativo Deportes. Hoy, ¿qué lectura le da a esta derrota contra León? ¿Por dónde pasó esta goleada? ¿Qué le pasó a este equipo que eran, respondiendo un poquito, favoritos hoy en día?
I don't understand it. I need somebody to tell me what he said, because I can't understand I can't understand.
Hey, Orlando, your audio is difficult to hear. If you can submit your question in the Q&A, we'll make sure we get it asked to Peter. You can use the Q&A function on Zoom. While we're waiting on that, our next question will go to Sean Goodwin with the Kansas Star. Sean, your line is open.
Hey, Pete, I'm going to stick with the theme of young players real quick. Grayson Barber, you know, I feel like he struggled early on, but he grew into the game. Obviously, great assist, right?
Did it really well. He's the last 2 games that he's played in for us. He's grown from the last game to this game. He's very competitive. He's making good movements and good runs, and he's working really hard. And you know, hard work is going to always lead to good things in this game. And so, yeah, I think this was a good performance for him. He was dangerous.
Peter, thank you very much for the time tonight.
Thank you.
At this time, we're joined by Sporting Kansas City midfielder Cam Duke. As a reminder for media, if you'd like to be placed into the queue to ask a question, please use the raise hand function on Zoom at this time. Our first question will go to Sean Goodwin with the Kansas City Star. Sean, your line is open.
Hey, Cam. Obviously, you're one of the younger players on the team, but you've got some good experience in the last month or so. When you're in a game like that, you know, 6-1 down, and you're surrounded by a bunch of other younger guys, just when you come onto the field, what can you do to, you know, I guess, help your younger guys get through a situation like that with your own experience?
Yeah, obviously when I went in, we were down 3-0, so I just wanted to come in and make an impact and kind of lift the team spirit. And we got a goal, but unfortunately we weren't able to continue.
Our next question goes to Jonathan Segal with MLSsoccer.com. Jonathan, your line is open.
Hey, Cam. We just heard Peter understandably talking about the, let's call it, compressed schedule, the workload that imparts on players and physical challenges from that. From a player's point of view, what has it been like juggling that, and how have you found just the team overall handling that? Because that seems to understandably have shaped the lineup that was deployed tonight against Club León.
Yeah, obviously we have a lot of games in such a short period of time, and we just need to have everyone ready. And you saw it tonight. We had a lot of new players starting, and that's just how it has to be. We need rotation. We have a lot of guys dealing with stuff, so these next couple games, we're going to see a lot of rotation in the lineups.
Our next question goes to Daniel Sperry with Last Word on Soccer. Daniel, your line is open.
Hey, Cam. Just kind of take us through, maybe as a player, what you guys have gone through in the last 6 days or so. I know you guys have been traveling a lot. I think you guys got in really late on Sunday morning from the Colorado match. Just how difficult is it to go through all that and then come in to be asked to play such a competitive match so quickly after all that?
Yeah, it's very difficult. We've been getting in late from the away games, getting in at like 2, 3 a.m., and it's a quick turnaround, but I think we've been managing it pretty well, and we're just trying to recover as much as possible to just get ready for these games coming up.
Cam, thank you very much for the time tonight.
Thank you.
At this time, we're joined by Sporting Kansas City forward Grayson Barber. Our first question will go to Sean Goodwin with the Kansas City Star. Sean, your line is open.
Hey Grayson, obviously a tough result, and a lot of younger guys out there, getting some of their first minutes or some of their first couple of appearances of the season. Just how difficult was it out there against a pretty much full-strength Liga MX team? Just what was that difficulty level like out there?
It was tough, especially with us not getting much time to train with a bunch of games going on right now. But we went out there and we did our best that we could do.
Our next question goes to Daniel Sperry with Last Word on Soccer. Daniel, your line is open.
Grayson, just kind of walk us through this last few days. We didn't get to talk to you after your debut in Colorado. So how does it felt to kind of get these appearances and these chances, and then get on the score sheet today with that assist?
It feels good. It's just a lot of games back and forth and coming in and just making sure my body's recovered. But it's nice to finally get an assist and be able to help out the team.
Our next question goes to Sean Goodwin with the Kansas City Star. Sean, your line is open.
Yeah, Grayson, coming off the back of last game, and Peter says himself, you had a good game. You kind of grew into this game. Just how did you feel this game went for you as you grew into it, and obviously got the assist and kind of got some more confidence as the game went on?
Yeah, my first half wasn't the best, but going into halftime, I couldn't let that affect me going into the second half. So I just had to keep the same mentality to go out there and work as hard as I could. And thankfully, I was able to get the assist to Cam.
Grayson, thank you very much for the time tonight.
Yep.